After the time I had getting an archery lesson on Sunday with Gotham Archery, hey Clint, I think I could be your next training partner. Come on. I'm basically an expert at this point. Look at that right there. Your boy hit the bullseye. Avengers assemble. And welcome to my safe gaming. Thank you for joining me here for another review for Hawkeye Season 1 on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking out my channel, first of all, thank you so much for clicking on this video to see what I have to say. Welcome again to my safe gaming. My name is Michael. I always say the things that I love to talk about in my fantasy has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk about superheroes. I like to talk about comic books. I like to talk action movies, sci-fi, fantasy, and I also love to talk about black representation and queer representation, or the lack thereof, in fantasy, sci-fi, mainstream properties. So if that's something that you're interested in, hopefully you enjoy this video, you check out the other videos, and you become a regular here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. But whether this is your first or several times that you come to this channel, if you could do me a favor and please hit that like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm and getting this video out there and my channel out there so we can continue to grow this channel and this train on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. Guys, I am a little less than 200 followers away from hitting another milestone on this channel, 5,000 subscribers. So yeah, if you could do me a favor to help me get to that milestone, but please, I cannot emphasize it enough, hit that like button, like, share, comment, interact on this video for the algorithm. But anyway, let's talk about Hawkeye episode 4. Episode 4 of Hawkeye is called Partners, am I right? And if you could not tell from the title of this episode, I will be talking full spoilers for episode 4 of Hawkeye. So hopefully if you are watching this, you've seen the episode already. But the synopsis for this episode is: secrets are revealed and hard truths emerge, culminating in a battle of two opposing forces. So this episode picks up literally seconds after the ending of episode 3, where Jacques Duquesne is holding the Ronin sword to Clint Barton's neck. And it basically is a confirmation where Jack Duquesne and Clint do not know each other, unlike their comic book counterparts, because for those of you that don't know, Jacques Duquesne is the superhero or anti-hero former villain known as Swordsman, and he was a member of the Avengers at one point. And Jacques Duquesne was one of the main people to train Hawkeye in how to be a warrior. And it turns out it wasn't just Jacques that was home. Kate Bishop's mother was home too. I can't remember her name. Eleanor. It literally just hit me. And so they're having a whole conversation because she's like, what is an Avenger doing in my house working with my daughter? And Clint kind of tells her, but doesn't really. And even when Eleanor confronted him at the elevator, he doesn't even reveal that he has a family when she asks him, do you have kids? Which is kind of going to show that no matter what, Hawkeye is still holding secrets close to his vest, close to his chest. I think that's the saying. Because at the end of the day, he's always on as a soldier. Like, he's always, even when they were walking with Kate Bishop, she was like, oh, what are you doing? Are you assessing the situation? And he's always on, so he doesn't even trust her to even just reveal that he has kids. Just a simple yes. Which again goes to the entire theme that Kate Bishop is trying to get him to loosen up. It's all about what she says. It's all about his branding. And I also love, despite the fact that Linda Cardellini, Hawkeye's wife, isn't really a part of the show as much, I love the little moments that they show with their relationship, that even though she's not part of the superheroics, she's still very much involved in the superheroics, where he will involve her and call her in on certain aspects. And they even speak German to each other when they don't want their kids to overhear the superhero missions and things that he's on. And I love that, you know, that she's so heavily involved in his superheroics. And while she more than likely wants her man home for Christmas, she's still very supportive of basically his job. Not even just as an Avenger, because before he was an Avenger, he was a SHIELD agent for like 20 plus years. And this show is just making me realize like how much I wish we would have gotten a proper Hawkeye series or more development for this character within the MCU. Because even think about, what was it, last week's episode 3, where you got to see how deadly and proficient Hawkeye is with the bow and arrow when he's just fighting regular humans. Like, his character is very deadly, and we don't really get that when he's interacting with all the Avengers and how much more power and everything that they have. Even Black Widow, who, yeah, she's immortal just like him, but they constantly say how Black Widow's better than him. So you got this character, you got this character in Black Widow who's also better than Hawkeye. So then it's like, and then also Black Widow's gotten way more development than Hawkeye. That's why most of the fandom doesn't really care about this version of Clint Barton, because he hasn't gotten any development. And that's the thing that I also really enjoyed about this episode, because for the most part, I would say that overall, nothing really happened in this episode, but I do feel like a lot happened in this episode. But at the same time, I have a lot of conflicting thoughts about this episode because I really enjoyed it, but then at the same time, I'm just like, come on guys, like, what are you doing? And the reason I say that is because, let me get the good stuff. Like, I love, like, this episode was a lot of Clint and Kate. And I think the relationship between Clint and Kate and the acting and chemistry between Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner, like, it is golden. Like, these two have phenomenal chemistry together, and it's just like the two characters of Clint and Kate in the comics. And you can definitely feel the mentor-mentee relationship between the two and how much Kate Bishop really looks up to Hawkeye. And I feel that chemistry just popping off the screen every time they're together, how she wants to impress him, how she's pushing him to be a better person. And the best part of this episode for me was like the little Christmas party that they had at Clint's little house, and how Clint started training her a little bit with like the diamond or the coin, showing again more about Clint's proficiency and how deadly he is, and aligning him more and more with his comic book counterpart, and how he said he can knock a person out from 20 feet with just a quarter alone. And even the PTSD that he had with the flashbacks that you saw from Avengers Endgame with his family disappearing, and then also the unfortunate unaliving of Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, his best friend. And even that scene where he talked about like the best shot that he took was the shot that he never took, which was more about Natasha. And again, I'm like, I wish we got to see a Natasha and Clint like origin movie. Like, as much as they talk about Budapest, and yeah, they went into Budapest in the Black Widow movie, but I really wanted them to like dive into Budapest with like a Black Widow and Clint movie. Like, it should have happened. It should have happened. There should have been a Black Widow and Hawkeye movie, especially with them being both agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then you also think about the What If episode where it was just the two of them. They were the only ones to survive in that post-apocalyptic world of Ultron. Like, I love that episode too, and the dynamic between the two of them, and how much Natasha got so much more autonomy, and she was treated and written as a better character in What If than she was in the MCU. And a lot of times the live action MCU was constantly telling us that Clint and Nat are best friends, but I feel like they didn't show it as much as I would have liked to. And even getting to this moment, just like seeing how much the death of Black Widow was weighing on him. Like, I loved this moment in this episode, and just these character moments, period, from both Clint and Kate. But the reason I said I'm of like two conflicting thoughts regarding this episode, because overall I really did enjoy this episode. However, being that these Marvel live action shows, with the exception of WandaVision, can only seem to do 6 episodes. I don't know why they're sticking to the 6 episode marker, but it really needs to change. But I feel like, considering this is episode 4, we only got 2 episodes left. Next week's episode is the penultimate episode before the season or series finale, because I don't know if we're going to get a season 2 of Hawkeye. But because of that, like, considering like this episode was just a lot of character stuff, but overall nothing happened in terms of like pushing the plot forward, and then all the things that they're introducing in this episode, like we got jumping to the end of the episode, we finally got to see Yelena Belova show up, but then there's still the lingering issues with Maya Lopez, Echo, and that plot line needed to be wrapped up. And then also, I can come out and say this because Kevin Feige, if you haven't followed me, if you're not following me on TikTok and you're not following me on Instagram, which you should if you're not, but I made a whole video talking about how Kevin Feige has come out officially and said Charlie Cox will be returning to the MCU as Matt Murdock Daredevil. So with that confirmation, he didn't say when, he didn't say where. More than likely, because there's a lot of rumors that he's going to show up in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm thinking that's why he's coming out, because I'm like, well, the Spider-Man No Way Home red carpet is going to happen in the next week or so. And why is he coming out now with this news that Charlie Cox is playing Matt Murdock? Because Charlie Cox is more than likely going to be at the red carpet because he's in the movie. But whether that's true or not, whether he's in No Way Home or not, the confirmation that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil, that right there confirms that the uncle character that we saw in episode 3, I believe, that's most definitely Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. There's no questions, ifs, ands, or buts. Once Charlie Cox was confirmed, it's definitely Vincent D'Onofrio. And so because of that, we now also have to introduce Vincent D'Onofrio into this new version of the MCU. Because I don't know if it's going to be the same Kingpin from the Netflix shows, or if they're kind of going to do a soft reboot or whatever. But either way, they're going to have to still introduce Kingpin to these characters. We still got to wrap up Echo's storyline. We still got to wrap up Kate's storyline. We still got to wrap up Clint's storyline. Then Yelena's now thrown into, like, it's too many threads being introduced, and we only have 2 more episodes left. And so for you to get to this episode and not much really happen, like, there's no time to have this character moment episode. Like, if this was episode 4 of like 10, I would have loved it, but this is episode 4 of 6, and like I said, nothing really happened to further develop the plot. And we also still don't know what's up with Jack Duquesne and who killed what's that guy's name? Armand. And of course, I will say, I love seeing the LARPers come back. And I'm just like, as a person that cosplays off and on, I'm like, that's something I feel like I would have so much fun getting into. I need to find like I'm pretty sure there's one here in Jersey, or maybe just going to New York. But I'm like, I need to try that at least one time, like being in a LARPer community or whatever. Because like, it just looks like a lot of fun. So I love seeing those characters come back, especially Grills. Even though he didn't really have much to do, I just like the fact that they returned. But overall, though, I really did enjoy this episode. Like, despite the slowness of it, I enjoyed that they took the time to have a little bit more character development. I just wish there was more than 6 episodes, really. Because, yeah, I'm just like, there's a lot to wrap up in such a little bit of time. And while WandaVision is probably still my #1, I would say as of right now, surprisingly, Hawkeye is shaping up to be my favorite of my second favorite of the Disney Plus shows, which is something like Hawkeye was the one I was least excited about, and it's turning out to be, like I said, my second favorite of the Disney Plus shows. So who would have thought? And the majority of that is on the strength of the chemistry between Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld. Now, with that said, join me. I don't know when I'm going live, but I will be at least I'm trying to go live with Ron again to talk about this episode of Hawkeye. Probably not tonight. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, probably not today. Maybe tomorrow or maybe Friday. Again, I don't know. I have to check with him. But he's not working. He's off. So his schedule should be free. But hit him up on Instagram. You don't read comics and be like, go live, go live, go live, go live. And while you're at it, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok and all my social medias, Twitter, all of that stuff, BlackGayComicGeek. But anyway, what did you guys think about this episode of Hawkeye? What was your favorite moment? What was your least favorite moment? Do you feel the same way I do about this series falling in maybe your #2, or maybe it's your favorite, or maybe it's your least favorite? Because I think I read that Hawkeye is now the least watched of the Disney Plus shows. And I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that they never really promoted Hawkeye that much in the MCU. So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really care about a Hawkeye series. But I guess that was kind of the point of this series, to maybe get you to care about Hawkeye. But I don't know. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you can, again, hit that thumbs up button and like this video to really help out with the channel. And if this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video and when I post a notification that I plan on going live. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.